The Iowa class battleships are such iconic ships, but if you want to model them in 1/600, you have a fairly limited range of choices. We're grabbing the Kangnam 1/600, although it's not as good a kit as some of the box art suggests. I actually started this project as a scratch build using the anatomy of the ship as a reference and using an old Bismarck hull as the basis for a new hull. I actually ended up creating quite a good hull. However, I then discovered the Kangnam, and when I compared the Kangnam hull and my scratch build hull, they were pretty close, so I went ahead building the Kangnam. The Kangnam kit has been described as a bit of a bathtub toy, and it does have a lot of issues, so I've listed some of the corrections and improvements that need to be made on the following slides. The superstructure of the Kangnam kit is very, very plain and almost completely devoid of any detail. It has solid stairways that need to be removed, and the 5-inch mounts are also pretty awful, and so scratch built replacements were made. A couple of alcoves and overhangs also had to be made in the superstructure. The harpoon launchers and the platforms they sit on were completely missing from the kit, so they had to be scratch built. I had previously made a set of more accurate propellers for the scratch built hull, and these were used on the Kangnam kit. The main turrets weren't too bad, but the barrel slots had to be closed off at the bottom, and the small 20mm position shield at the very tip of the bow also needed to be replaced. In this photo, you can just make out the scribing for the hull plating. The lattice foremast needed a bit of modification to get the supporting struts correct. At this stage, we can see some detail added to the forward superstructure. The ship's number decals provided were far too large, so I hand painted the numbers on. And the data link antenna was scratch built. At this stage, the turrets are finished. There's still a few other paint touch-ups to be done, and photo etch is yet to be fitted. The bridge windows had to be masked up and repainted because the molded height of the panes was too high. The phalanx mounts provided were way too large, and so new, smaller ones had to be scratch built. The rest of these shots show the model basically completed with photo etch fitted. So we've taken a very basic kit, we've added detail, corrected errors, added photo etch, and the end result hasn't been too bad. A few minor points that could also be improved is the funnels on this model are slightly too short, but I decided to leave them because adjusting them would require adjusting the mast as well. And the number of windows across the bridge front was also a little small, and I noticed this rather too late in the process, so I left them as they were. The one-piece hull means that this model actually floats quite well if it's ballasted, and so final shots were taken in the bath with a mirror background, which kind of takes us right back to it being a bathtub toy. However, I was quite happy with the final result.